there, how are you doing? Some horses find this challenging and what to do about it. Today I'm going to share with you what I did with my horse, and when she found a task that was very challenging for her, what I ended up doing. What some horses find challenging is dealing with change. And what my mare had trouble with the other day, which was something I knew she would have a problem with because she typically has, that's a difficult area for her. And what it was changing, accepting the change that I presented to her from a fast, quick activity that needed immediate responses and fast movement to switching over to going slow and calm, balanced. What I was asking her to do is, I was on the lunge. I wanted her to do trot, canter transitions on a circle around me. And I wanted her to jump into the canter and then have a graceful downward transition into the trot. And again, jump into the canter and have a graceful transition. And she's very good at it. She does it very well. But the thing that happens with her, and this may happen with your horse, let me know, put a note for me below if this happens with your horse, is you notice that as timing escalates, as things get more and more closer together, as there starts to be an escalation, your horse starts to get tense, right? And then they start to get emotional. So she starts to get a little worked up, she's a bit uptight, her eyes get bigger, and she starts to get tense. So that's what happens to her. You could choose to avoid that situation completely, or you can choose to think through it, evaluate what's going on, and make a decision upon your next step. And that's what I'm going to tell you today, what I did. What was my next step? So if you have a horse like that, and you have a next step that's in your mind, put it below for me as a note. What would be your next step? My next step was to come to a halt. So the exact task, I'll tell you what the exact task was after the transitions, was to then come within arm length of me, so my arm was on her wither, and I wanted her to walk in a square and be in rhythm with me, in sync with me, so not faster than I was. And so I wanted her to come down and be with me, dancing with me in that task as well. So what I did was this. I came to a halt. I evaluated parts in her body that I know she holds tension. And we all have, even as humans, we have parts in our body that we hold tension, right? So she holds tension typically in her TMJ and in her pole. So I went to those two areas. I did some tasks, some small activities with her, just rotating her head left and right very slowly, very carefully, with careful observation to how it was done, to the quality of it. And I did that for perhaps 10 seconds, and then I went back to my task, which was on the small square, staying in rhythm with me, not faster with me, dancing with me on the square, but at the same time also carrying herself, pushing with her hind legs and not rushing, right? Which is what she had built herself up to do with the previous exercise. So that's what I chose to do. And she did it perfectly. She did her square around me. She did the corners. She kept her hind legs coming and pushing. She relaxed, but not relaxing completely without tone. She carried herself and she became elastic. Elastic in her ability to move her body and therefore elastic in her mind. So that is what I chose to do. Now, there are other choices that you could go with. You could maybe approach it from her emotional state. That is what I chose to do yesterday. And that is how she came back into her body. She got focus. She released her TMJ, she released her pole, but yet she knew that she had to carry her body when she's working with me and not just slop around and fall around on that little square, which is not an easy task to do. So within seconds, she was back with me. She was moving with ease. She was soft but strong, and she had peace in her mind. I wanted to let you know that because there are so many ways that we can approach a problem, in quotes, or an incident that comes up with our horse, right? And how we make our decisions is the important thing. So if that's value for you, let me know. Feel free to put notes for me below. And if you're on the replay, I come back and I'll chat with all replayers here as well. And if you'd like to work with me, I'm opening up an exciting program, a step-by-step process that will help you with this. And it will help you with your body, showing you how to have elasticity and ease in your movement, and therefore your mind. Okay, so thanks so much for being here. Great to have you, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.